Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and today here I'm at the show floor at PAX East in Boston. And here in my hands, of course, is the Oculus Rift S. Now, I know a lot of you guys and girls out there are interested to know more about this device, including me, so I'm going to be covering it all in today's video, including the refresh rate, the resolution, the comfort, the audio, how well it plays games, the tracking. I'm going to be covering it all in this video. So make sure you stay tuned for all this information, and I'll make sure I put timestamps in the description down below. But before I get into that, I just want to say thank you to Oculus for inviting us here to PAX East in Boston and for sponsoring the flights and accommodation. We really appreciate it. However, with that said, I'm not going to be holding any punches when it comes to this device, because I know a lot of you guys and girls out there are concerned about some of the specs. I'm one of those people too. I'm representing the hardcore Rift owner here, so I'll be giving you all the details you need to know in this video. So I hope you guys and girls find this video useful, and without further ado, let's dive in.
Okay, so on the show floor I had 2 hours time with the Oculus Rift S to do as I pleased, and I spent that time testing the tracking, audio, resolution, IPD adjustment, I wore glasses in the Rift S, and then I played some Asgard's Wrath, so I should be able to cover the key points people want to know. Sadly, in terms of release date, which is the biggest question right now, we still don't know when both the Rift S and Quest will be launching, other than the very vague spring 2019. We do know that both devices will start at $399 US, and my best guess is that they're likely to be released during Facebook F8, which takes place between the 30th of April and the 1st of May. So let's talk about audio first, as that was one of the concerns I shared in my previous Rift S video. And this is due to the lack of earphones like we've got right now on the original Oculus Rift. And I really liked the original earphones on the Rift, as they provided a fair amount of bass when it came to games like Beat Saber and hearing shots in first-person shooters. I have to say, it was difficult to test the audio of the Rift S on the noisy show floor at PAX. To test out, I cranked the volume up to max and was playing Dance Central with its punchy music tracks. I took the headset off my head and held the audio outlet directly up to my ear, and I have to say the audio sounded a bit tinny and lacked bass. Now this could be the environment drowning out the sound, but it's likely due to the audio being delivered through the channels in the head strap, rather than an on-the-ear design like the original Rift. Of course, you do have the option to use your own headphones, utilizing a 3.5mm headphone jack on the left-hand side of the headset. But it was difficult to get the headphones over the wide, rigid head strap, and then you have to deal with an additional cable dangling around in front of you. It is possible, it just makes getting into the headset that little bit more cumbersome. I really hope that Oculus provide earbuds with a short cable like they produced as an accessory for the original Oculus Rift. At least then gamers would have a comfortable alternative. So now let's talk about the optics. The lenses themselves look almost identical to the Fresnel lenses in both the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest. And I have to say, the display, which puts out a resolution of 1280 by 1440 pixels per eye, did look nice. The screen door effect was greatly reduced, and God rays were also reduced. Everything in the headset looked sharp and vibrant, but just don't expect a huge improvement over the original Rift display. The sweet spot was similar to the Oculus Go, and I had to move it down a little bit lower on my face just to get it just right. But once I had it in place, games looked great. And despite the resolution bump being slight, this is the only way I want to play the graphically impressive Stormlands or Asgard's Wrath moving forward in the future. I want to just get the best possible visual experience, and that's what you're going to get with this headset. The field of view in the headset to me looked exactly the same as the original Oculus Rift, but the most interesting thing to me was that I didn't even notice the drop from 90Hz to 80Hz with this headset, which I was really surprised about, and this was one of the biggest concerns I had about this headset. And I have to say, if you had two headsets running side by side, one at 80, one at 90, I think you'd be hard pushed to tell the difference. The new sort of rubber nose piece didn't completely block out the nose gap, but it did significantly reduce it compared to the original Oculus Rift. Another big concern that I and the community had about the Oculus Rift S was its software-based IPD adjustment. Now, I was able to get into the menu and was able to adjust the sliders from 58mm up to 72mm, which is great for me as I sit around the 60mm mark, and there were concerns that it couldn't go this low, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy to hear this news. One of the biggest things that surprised me during my time with the Oculus Rift S was the Oculus Insight inside-out tracking system, and I really tried to push this system to its limits in my testing. For the test, what I did was I went into Oculus Home and I picked up a long wooden coat rack at the base. And then what I did was I slowly moved my hand by my side. I then moved it above my head and then low down to the floor as possible. And I have to say, it all tracked perfectly. I was even able to pass the coat rack to my other hand behind my back a few times. And that worked about 80% of the time I did that maneuver. The thing is, when tracking is lost, the controller just sticks in its last known location. And then as soon as it's back in range of the cameras, it instantly starts tracking again. Really, really impressive. I also tested the tracking by holding my hands like it was in a gun stock, like a Pro Tube for example, and that worked perfectly. The only other time that tracking got a bit spotty was when I held the controllers very close to the headset. And when I mean close, I mean practically touching the headset. And to be honest, this happens very rarely in game, so I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue moving forward. Overall, I'm really impressed with the Oculus Insight system, although I do feel that a 3-sensor setup using the original Oculus Rift sensors would be superior in terms of raw tracking ability. But the thing is here, not having to set them up and mount sensors and use extension cables and USB expansion cards is clearly the right move forward. This makes the headset very easy to set up and use for newcomers, which is great. Right now, the headset and controllers don't support the original sensor constellation tracking system. However, we've been told that this could be updated in the future, but for now, I would say it's a no. The new touch controllers felt instantly familiar whilst in virtual reality, albeit ever so slightly smaller and lighter. It has exactly the same haptic feedback and capacitive thumbstick sensors as the original controllers. The only thing I did notice during my time with the headset is that I hit the tracking rings together a couple of times when making movements in-game. As they're much more prominent now, the tracking rings are inverted. It's also interesting to note that the controllers for both Rift S and Quest are exactly the same controller, and these controllers will also be compatible with the original Oculus Rift if you need replacements in the future. In terms of ergonomics, the headset itself was really comfortable. The new Halo head strap fits your head nicely, and the padding at the front, back, and facial interface was very soft. With it being a Halo design though, if you shake your head violently from side to side, you will get wobble, just like with the PSVR. When I made this movement, it then caused the lenses of the Rift S to hit the bridge of my nose, but really you don't tend to make this kind of movement in VR. Overall, I still have to say I prefer the original Rift baseball cap style design. However, the Rift S does accommodate those who wear glasses much better, as you can now shift the lenses forwards and backwards using a button on the bottom of the headset. And I tried this out with my own glasses and I have to say it worked great. So the big question is, do I feel like this is worth upgrading to if you already own an Oculus Rift? No, not really. The slight resolution bump is nice, I have to say, and I do want that moving forward myself, and this is the only way I want to play these big AAA titles coming from Oculus in the future. But if you're currently happy with your current Rift, then I would advise you to wait until we get a full-on Rift 2.0. For newcomers who are looking for a PC VR headset, this is absolutely the headset you should buy. It's comfortable, it's super simple to set up, the minimum specs are reasonable for a modern day gaming PC, and you're going to have a great experience with the latest games without the friction of having to set up sensors and run cables across your room. And although it might sound like I'm being negative about the headset in this video, I'm actually really positive about it, and I just wanted to respond to the main concerns from the Rift community and the ones that I highlighted in my previous video. But like I said before, this is more of a refresh than a Rift 2.0. But I really do hope in the future that Oculus delivers something that long supporters of the Rift really, really want. Something for the hardcore that is unashamedly high-end. But I guess we'll have to wait until Oculus Connect 6 at the end of the year to find out.
Okay, so there we have it, guys and girls. That is the Oculus Rift S. They're all the details that you guys and girls have been asking me in my social post on YouTube, so I hope I've answered all your questions. If I missed anything, then please put them in the comments down below. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. So now that I've given you all the details about this headset, does it change your mind about it, or are you still in the same mindset? You're not particularly interested, or you are interested? I'd love to know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what games you'd like to play on this device, because certainly I can't wait to play more Asgard's Wrath in this headset. So leave a like if you like this video, make sure you're subscribed for all my future content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.